Third part. Grab on, he heard someone say amid the strobing darkness and light. Eyes still shut, Pick turned in that direction and said, "That you, jerk? Well done, congratulations." Hiki stood in front of the hole with a net clinging to one arm, and as his other arm wrapped around her waist, he flashed his teeth in a grin. Though it made it look like he was sending Pick into the hole alone, undoubtedly he'd gone in after and seen all that had transpired. And now the thin man's time had come. You just have to stick it out a little longer now, and buy us some time to get away. We're counting on you, kid. To hell with that. Wait, damn you, Pick shouted, his eyes now open as he ran. Just in front of his outstretched hand, Hiki and Annette were sucked right up the hole. Wait. Jumping for all he was worth, the boy reached out his fingertips and caught hold of some cloth. It was the hem of Annette's skirt. "Let go," Hiki shouted. "The hell I will. The Lord's telling you you've got to take me with you. Let's go." "Damn it." Hiki hesitated, but Annette urging him to hurry up was the last push he needed. Pick was tugged toward the hole. "Yes," the boy cried out with joy, but a second later that turned to horror. He was no longer moving. It wasn't that Hiki had stopped. Rather, something had latched on to Pick's collar to stop him. One arm. That was all the strength he or it needed to counter the weight of 3 people, and the flying capability of Hiki's cloth. "Where do you think you're going, boy?" asked the first voice he'd heard through the dust cloud. "I may not be able to see, but I can tell by the scent. There's a woman nearby. Now come back here." "Who the hell'd listen to a noble?" "Run for it." Pick let go, or at least, he tried to release Annette, but his fingers wouldn't move. "Your tongue and vocal cords are the only things that work now," the voice said. Why did it seem to have a gentle ring to it? It was like the Grim Reaper being made of candy. "Never could I have imagined that we would catch our prey in this hole in the ground. This we owe to whomever set that ancient iron fossil into motion. And wherever you are, I, Xenogorshan, give you my thanks." And as soon as he'd finished saying that, he hauled Pick back. Not just Pick, but Annette and Hiki were pulled down as well. With a brief scream, Annette belly flopped to the floor. Her weight was enough for her to pull free of Hiki's fingers. "I can't believe it. He pried my fingers loose to save his own skin." Still lying on her stomach, the girl looked up at the hole in disbelief. "See, I told you. He's shown his true colors." Pick spat venomously. "Don't you ever trust him again. But don't worry, I'll save you for sure." Such a spirited child. Feeling chill breath on the back of his neck, Pick was silenced. The voice belonged to someone else, and the second speaker sounded terribly grave. "If you're more concerned for others than for yourself, you have the heart of a man. Perhaps I should make you my servant." Terror split from head to crotch. Even Nanette turned to look. "A servant of the nobility? Am I going to wind up a vampire, too?" "No, don't," he cried, thrashing violently, swinging his arms and legs. He even jerked his head around, hoping to deliver a headbutt. Not a single hair was out of place. The girl must be handled in keeping with Lord Gilliam's instructions, but this stripling should be another matter. As the one who caught him, I should receive the privilege of the first taste. There are no objections to that, I take it? "Yes, there are." "What?" Pick felt the nobleman who'd captured him, Zeno Gorshin, turn in surprise. When the nobleman shifted position, Pick too was swung around. Of the trio, two were facing the same person, staring at the third. It was the young man who wore a pair of swords on his back, and though pale skin was characteristic of the nobility, this man was far whiter than that. It looked as though not a single drop of blood flowed through him. Perhaps it could be said to be more noble than any other. "What is your objection, Braylo?" Zeno Gorshin inquired. "That child. I want him," he replied in a voice devoid of inflection. It was even more intimidating than Gorshin's tone. However, the instant it reached Pick's eardrums, the boy felt as if he'd been plunged into a frozen sea. "This is most unusual. I didn't think you cared for human blood." As Gorshin broke into a grin, the stark white nobleman replied, "It's not blood I want, it's his skill." "His skill," said the last, the noble who called to mind a monk as he furrowed his brow. The boy's movements, his footwork, had he not tried to flee through that hole, I doubt you would have got him. His remark was addressed to Gorshin. "What do you propose?" "Allow me to have some fun. Actually, Gray Soldier and Blue Soldier are begging. Please let us cut him, they say." "What the hell?" Pick shouted. "I ain't your lousy plaything. Before you cut me, forget that. No way in hell I'll let you cut me. Before you can, I'm gonna drive wooden stakes through the hearts of all three of you bastards." "Feisty, is he not?" Braylo said, his lips twisting. They formed a smile. Pick felt his mind slipping away. Were he not... It should hardly be worth the trouble of cutting him down. Gorshin, set him loose. "Though that might be nice, it still seems a shame," said the boy's captor, hesitating. "Look at him, so young, with all the spirit of a ball of fire. And the blood that runs in his veins must be quite hot, too. I think I should slake my thirst after all. I won't allow you to have your way." Pale lips hissed Gorshin's name, and the words that followed carried a will like a colossal block of ice. "Would you stand in my way?" "I believe I would." "Oh, now," Annette murmured. "I have no qualms about facing you," Braylo said, both arms rising straight from his sides. Gorshin's expression stiffened. Annette reeled. The unearthly aura that adorned Gorshin had knocked her unconscious. Even Pick was frozen with fear, all thoughts of escape or expectations at seeing a battle between noblemen forgotten. Just then, "Both of you stop this." The monk, who'd watched in silence up until now, intervened. "Stay out of this, Benelli," Braylo said sullenly. "Let us not forget that one of them escaped. Most likely it's the bounty hunter Gorshin knocked out of the sky. Even now he should still be after us." "We have the girl," Braylo said, his finger pointing at Annette, where she lay crumpled at Gorshin's feet. That flash bomb earlier might well have been a napalm charge. It's the safety of the girl he has in mind. He can't do anything to endanger her. There's the other one." At Benelli's morose tones, Braylo's killing lust dissipated in an instant. Even Gorshin had stiffened. "D," Annette murmured. "Ah yes, where has that fearsome man gone?" Braylo groaned, and mixed with the words was that sound like sobbing, the crazed cries of his blades. 3 pairs of undead eyes focused on Pick, and then quickly shifted to Annette. "Where is he?" Gorshin inquired. Annette's eyes were tinged with red, for they reflected the eyes of the nobleman. "How the hell should we know?" Pick shouted. "The jerk dumped me and the little lady and went off somewhere. We don't know where he's gone, and he's a stranger to us. The blazing eyes of the nobles focused on the boy. Grabbing hold of the boy's chin, Gorshin lightly turned it up in his direction so he could peer into Pick's face. Even scared. He hasn't lost the will to resist us. Such a nice face. It would seem he's not lying. In that case, have we seen the last of that one? Braylo asked, clear disappointment surfacing on his pale face. No. The monk called Benelli said, shaking an evil countenance ill-suited to such trappings from side to side. He'll come. Or we'll go get him. But I assure you we shall meet. And my instincts are telling me it'll be quite soon. And then the three noblemen performed a strange action. They turned in unison to look at the fallen object from which they'd appeared. And the sense of evil emanating from it paralyzed Pick and Annette. Within the vehicle was someone hostile toward these fiends. A certain name flashed through the minds of the two humans. Wrong, Gorshin murmured, as if he'd read their minds. As I said before, it's not him. In some respects, it's someone far more fearsome. And who's that? Pick wanted to ask. It had to be Dee they were talking about when they said him. But someone or something even scarier was inside the vehicle. And despite the fact that they clearly considered it their foe, these noblemen still wanted to get on board with it. Gorshin relent on the issue of the child, Benelli said, turning his deeply creased face toward his compatriot. Why? Not replying, Benelli looked at the other nobleman and said, and in return you mustn't touch him either, Braylo. Why not? He shall serve as a decoy. Bait to lure out the one in the castle. Pick's blood froze. Bait? What kind of bait? Fireball though he was, even the boy couldn't fathom their meaning. Gorshin protested. Just a mouthful. Are you yet half asleep? Would you meddle with another servant? Gorshin fell silent. Even Pick could recall hearing about this before. Nobles wouldn't put their fangs into a human another noble are fed upon. If you desire this child, first dispose of the one who lurks within, when he appears from his unknown location. Only then may you leave your kiss on the boy's throat. For the time being, hands off. What say you, Braylo? The pale noble nodded. That's 2 against 1, Gorshin. Do as you like then. The third nobleman conceded. However, we must act swiftly. This girl, she's not to be harmed in the slightest before she's handed over to our Lord Gillian. But the one inside won't honor that wish. He's certain to target her. This plan is to guard against that. Approaching Pick, the monk stroked his head softly. Though his touch seemed nothing but gentle, the boy felt his consciousness start to slip away. Now let us return. On with our dangerous journey to the castle. At Benelli's words, all 3 of them looked at the vehicle. No one moved. And the very thought of encountering whatever rooted their feet to the ground turned Pick's soul to ice. Chapter 6, End.